All right, Bruce, go ahead.
Thanks, Braden. All right, Marcy, Bill, thanks for the opportunity to meet you guys over the phone lines. And we're going to talk this afternoon, this morning in your case, about selling maintenance services and the importance of that as you grow and develop your business. The maintenance service business has become a growing category, and it's important for us to recognize the need to continue to take advantage of those options and opportunities. And I'm going to see if, there we go. So when we think about changes in automotive technology, Bill, you've been around for some time, as Braden says. So you might remember when engines look like that, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So years ago, we did maintenance, but it was slightly different. We look under the hood now, what do you see? It's hard to see anything except plastic panels and wires and computers and so on. It's much different. And our maintenance has changed as well. In times past, the customer would come in a couple times a year and say, I need a tune-up. What did that mean? Well, in most cases, it meant replacing a lot of mechanical parts, plugs, points, condenser, all these things were part of maintenance that we provided for a customer, especially spring and fall. They wanted drivability or had some other issues. That was part of our maintenance services that were offered. Nowadays, quite different. Maintenance has become services that include fuel and induction cleaning, throttle body service, service in the engine oil system, coolant exchanges, transmission fluid exchanges, brake fluid, power steering, gear oil, on and on down the line. So they're making engines differently, and maintenance has gotten different as well. And the key, though, for us in our business is to take advantage of those opportunities and recognizing the need to do that. So we encourage the owner to develop a maintenance focus in your business, because today vehicles can run a long time without major maintenance, but if they want to really get the maximum performance, reliability, and maintain their warranty requirements, they need to maintain those fluids and maintenance services as well. So it's something that, from a standpoint of a business, you can schedule it. It evens your workflow. It's not breakdown work or emergency services, so you're able to kind of balance your work week by scheduling properly. High profit margins on maintenance services as well. Very few, if any, comebacks or changing fluids and replacing fluids and cleaning things, so it's good, solid value for the customer as well. And today, with the technological advances in the equipment, it's not highly technical to do these services. Many of the machines are very user-friendly. We try to offer products and services that your technicians will be able to handle very easily and will do an outstanding job. And in fact, in some cases, they can even be done simultaneously. Your techs will like that because you're able to generate labor hours on a couple services as one. So there's some real value and benefit in doing that as well. So we're going to talk this morning a little about fluids. And one of the things we want to keep in mind is that fluid is a part. We think in terms of automotive maintenance, replacing a part or servicing a part, but fluids can be considered the same way. When we think about changing oil, when do we change oil on a vehicle now?
It's probably the 3,000-mile mark.
Yeah, that was a maintenance schedule that's kind of been accepted through 3,000 miles, and then sometimes it would even say, or 3 months. Now, we know with oil maintenance service issues and some of the changes in technology, oil monitoring services and systems, many vehicles will kind of tell you when, but there's usually a time or a mileage interval when that fluid needs to be changed. So again, when we think about other services on that vehicle, we want to follow the OE guidelines for scheduled maintenance. It's something that the consumer very often never looks at until there's a problem. So it's up to us as professionals in offering these services to let them know that we can provide them as well. And when we think about lubricants or fluids, most of them in the systems of a vehicle, there's 4 basic functions. The first one is contaminant containment. In other words, keep the dirt and debris contained within the fluid until it either gets to the filter or gets drained out or replaced. The second function would be heat removal. We want to keep things cool and operating smoothly and properly. Friction reduction is where often we mostly think in terms of oils or gear fluids to reduce friction between sliding surfaces. And then the fourth one is sealing, keeping the seals or gaskets pliable and clean so that the fluid remains in the component that it's designed to replace. So when we think about the first one, contaminant containment, anything that ends up in the lubricant, whether it's water, combustion byproduct, particulate matter from a hose, or whatever the case may be. Lubricants contain additives to provide detergency, dispersancy. They protect against corrosion and rust, and they also are designed to keep those contaminants contained until they can be taken care of properly. And we're going to talk a little bit later about a way you can demonstrate that to the customer through a product called Fluid RX, which allows you to give the customer a visual check on the condition of those fluids as well, which is a great feature. So one of the keys that you need to get through is building credibility. Building credibility, we want to make sure that your technicians are comfortable with any of these services. Because as we said, some of this is different from what technicians may have done years ago. They're used to putting on brake pads or replacing fan belts or other mechanical parts. When you get into fluid maintenance, if your technicians aren't comfortable, if they don't really understand the services, if they don't have knowledge of it, or even if they have worse, misinformation, you won't get very good results. Because they're not going to be able to explain the service properly to a customer if they don't have that knowledge and confidence themselves. So that's where training like this and the work done at Honest Ones provide you with the tools necessary to educate your staff and then your customer as well. Will end up making you a lot more successful. So just to give you some background on our products and the products that we're branding for Honest One, we've developed a technology partnership years ago with a company called Texaco Additives International. They were purchased by Chevron, so we've developed and private labeled some products for them. And they have some pretty unique things to test and develop additive technology. Now what you see on the screen here is a GM Quad 4 engine with 4 separate ports welded on those intake runners you see right along there. So we're able to develop induction cleaning products, fuel system cleaning products, and test them on the same engine. So it gives us some unique ability to really determine the best products to use to clean safely, effectively, and to give the consumer what they're looking for and be able to demonstrate that as well. So when we consider the first one, just let's talk about fuel and induction system cleaning. It's really become a necessary part of today's automotive maintenance service menu. Again, technology has changed drastically. Years ago, big V8 engines, excessive amount of power. Now we're seeing a lot of small engines, 4 cylinders, but again, good performance, good fuel economy, and good responsiveness out of these engines when they're clean and operate properly. And that's the key, because the nature of fuel injection is very tight tolerances. Our emission systems, such as PCV, EGR, and so on, will take dirty gases and burn gases and pass them back through the air induction system. Anything that ends up in the fuel injectors or in the air induction system can have an effect on the ability of that engine to get air and fuel. As you see there, the SAE did some tests years ago where they found that a 15% restriction in intake would reduce power output by 50%. Now that would be extremely noticeable, but it shows you that just a small restriction in intake air or fuel delivery can have a huge difference in power output of that engine. So again, that's one of the nice things about performing these services. Oftentimes you do a fuel and induction system service and the customer calls back and they'll say, what did you do to my car? Now that's not always a good thing to hear when you're a service advisor, but they say, man, I can't believe the way it's running. I've got good power performance, the thing accelerates. So that's a very positive response, and all you've done is remove the dirt and deposits that have been restricting that power output of that engine and brought it back to what the manufacturer designed to be in there. So again, an excellent service for the consumer as well. So just taking a look at some injectors here, there's some different technology has been developed over the years as engineers try to work around fuel deposit problems. You see the older Pinto style along the top here. Then you see director plate or ball and seat, some of the different designs that have been engineered to try to get away from some of the deposit problems here. Can I get a guess of how many miles are on these injectors? How many miles would you say are on these in-use injectors over on this side of the screen?
50,000.
That's a good guess, but it's a wrong guess. All right? Any other guess?
25,000.
Good guess, Braden. You're going the wrong way. But the correct number is 10,000 miles. So 10,000 miles. Does that surprise you, Bill and Marcy?
Is that what?
A little bit. What's the average driving miles in the United States right now? It's around 18,000 miles annually. So what that's telling you is your customers are getting deposits like these in less than a year's time.
On a
So
brand
again,
new car.
brand new car. So this is what that injector should look like at 10,000 miles. This is what the SD is finding is out there in that same time period. And again, you've seen some companies start pushing detergent gasolines, nitrogen-based detergent gasolines, and so on. But yet, how do most consumers choose which gasoline to buy? How do they base their decision?
Price.
Price. Okay. So bad news for the injector, good news for you and Open and Honest One Repair Center, because it'll give you an opportunity to provide a valid service that can provide some definite benefit to the customer when we see these type of fuel-related problems. So, again, one of the advantages you have in Honest One is you're going to be able to offer the fuel system treatment with Eco 360. So it's a private branded, your own product that you can offer to your customers. They can't go to AutoZone, Pep Boys, Advanced, anywhere else and buy this product except from you. So again, a huge advantage as an owner to be able to offer your own branded product to solve fuel system problems. That's part of the service kits that you're going to be able to offer. And the detergent package in this product is designed to remove deposits from those injectors to restore that proper spray pattern. Because fuel doesn't burn unless it's atomized. So the injector has to finally atomize that fuel to get proper fuel economy. It also contains a lubricant that lubricates the upper cylinders, valves, and injector tips to reduce future deposits. It's got an organic friction modifier in it that actually helps improve fuel economy from the top down, because you're delivering that through the fuel spray. So really an exceptional product, excellent quality, designed to do that. We also provide the Pro Flush DTI cleaner, which is the type of product that you use when you disable the fuel rail and you actually install and run the engine on this product through an installation tool. So this way you isolate those injectors to run specifically on this detergent for about 15 minutes during part of that maintenance services to really help remove any stubborn injector deposits that may be there. So it's safe to use on the Multec designs, any of the new designs that are using pintoless designs that are not able to use an alcohol-based product, because we don't use any alcohol or methanol in these products as well. So it restores injector balance and does a great job to remove deposit problems. We've also offered the H1 Pro Flush intake cleaner. That's induced through a tool as well, and that's the product that's designed to go in, including the air intake on the engine. So the tool hooks up to manifold vacuum or through an S nozzle, sprays through the throttle bore. The engine runs and it goes in and cleans, removes varnish, carbon, and those deposits through the air induction system, then burns them through the combustion process, helps clean the combustion chamber, pistons, valves, and then goes out through the exhaust system as well to help restore that drivability and performance by allowing the vehicle to run the way it was designed. Here's some pictures that we took through some of that technology that we're able to isolate individual cylinders on a taxi fleet test that we did some years back. But again, when people are purchasing a fuel and induction system cleaning, they think they're getting something clean. However, in some of the competitive products out there, there's really very little detergent, if any, to actually do any cleaning. So when you look down the intake runner here, you can see in one case you don't see much change. The other side, the Honest One branded product has a high detergent concentrate to be able to deliver that type of cleanup. So that's the type of performance you're able to deliver. And again, when your technicians recognize this and feel comfortable with it, then they know they're giving the customer a good service, they're going to get good results, good drivability, performance improvements, and they'll be happy to offer that service as well. Even here down on the piston tops where heat is usually extreme, the detergent we use is a polyetheramine, which is a very thermally stable detergent designed to resist high temperatures and to be able to survive on the intake valve and the combustion chamber, to be able to soften those deposits and then dissolve them and carry them through the combustion process and out the exhaust. So then the other step, sorry?
On the newer cars, is there any chance of the catalytic converter getting ruined?
Good question, Bill. What ruins catalytic converters? Oftentimes, if the engine has been is running rich, you can get the catalyst a little bit loaded up. Our products are safe for catalytic converters. We've done a lot of testing with Chevron to document that. And one of the things that often happens is catalysts get a low efficiency code, and oftentimes carbon is leaching out of the engine into the catalyst, restricts that, and you get a PO 420 code or a couple others that could come up there as well. We've done some work over the years with AP exhaust because they've found that oftentimes a fuel and induction cleaning will actually solve that problem, because you're going to remove that soft carbon deposit from the cat and get it cleaned out of there and restore the efficiency. It won't fix if one has been, if it's had catastrophic failure and it's overheated and it's the substrate's melted, there's nothing that can solve that. But if it's a carbon-related problem, we've actually had some really positive results. We do a clinic for them about twice a year because it reduces the amount of allegedly defective converters they get back. So again, we tell a person if there is a PO 420 code, do the fuel and induction service as you would, except as soon as you are finished the intake cleaning process, take the vehicle out, disconnect the tool, take the vehicle out, and drive the car on the road. Good solid road test. You want to purge any of that soft carbon that you've loosened up and get it out of there to really complete the cleaning process. So we've had very good results with that. We do have some tech bulletins to be aware of, just where you apply the chemicals so that you don't ever overheat a cat. And I'll make sure Braden gets those to you as well, and you avoid any potential problems that you don't want to cause.
All right. The same. There's not been a problem with O2 sensors either getting ruined. No.
Again, we've done a lot of extensive compatibility testing on O2 sensors and everything else. It will help clean carbon. Again, as you know, the automotive business oftentimes is, it's the ever since. You change the oil and it doesn't play FM now. So it's a good idea always, anytime you're doing drivability tests, to sometimes scan the vehicle for codes, see if there's any pending codes, because you don't want to get blamed for something you had nothing to do with. But our products have been documented and proven to be safe on sensors, switches, catalytic converters, and so on.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Good question. All right, so then we also produced the private labeled oil system treatment with Eco 360. That's added at an oil change interval. It's got an organic friction modifier in it as well that works very well to provide lubrication into the engine operating oil system. Good product, again, exclusive to Honest One. Good opportunity to offer that as part of your oil change services. Keeps you out of a competitive situation with the local auto parts suppliers because it's your own branded product. So those are the primary. We also brand the cooling system products, transmission additives, a whole line for your maintenance services for the Honest One line. Okay. Then again, when it comes to equipment training, we want to make sure that your technicians are properly trained. They're not uncomfortable with doing a service. We provide them with job aids that will give them pictures and instructions on performing those services as well. You see that illustrated there on the right. So we try to make sure that the equipment is technician friendly, that it is designed to work effectively and provide the consumer an excellent service, but that your technicians are comfortable offering and performing that service as well. So we do provide on-site training for your equipment. We do have 2 guys based in Florida, which will help when you need that. And again, it's a matter of getting your technicians properly trained and up to speed so they can feel comfortable in offering the services and easily taking advantage of those service opportunities when they come in.
Great.
We also offer some unique products. The Intake Snake is one for cleaning throttle body deposits. It's a flexible tool that has a replaceable head that goes on and actually cleans the throttle body with this little, I meant to hit this little thing here, a little replaceable tip. Throttle body service has become a growing maintenance service. A number of the OEs have technical service bulletins where they encourage you to check for throttle plate deposits. It really helps improve drivability and improve fuel economy and performance as well. So you just snap that head onto that flexible tool and then go ahead and scrub the throttle bore out and throw the tip away. But a very important, valid service, one that you can show the customer the results as well and a noticeable improvement in drivability with the vehicle too. Transmission machine is available either doing a cooler line or dipstick mode. It's fully automatic, LCD screen. You can program it for as many quarts as you want to exchange, and either use a dipstick line, and this hose goes down to the dipstick tube, or hook it up through the various cooler line connectors as well. Once the technician programs the number of quarts he wants to exchange, he hits the start button, vehicle is running, so it exchanges as many quarts of transmission fluid as you want. So it gives it a complete transmission fluid exchange, everything out of the torque converter, cooler lines, and you name it. So an excellent service. The tank is easily pumped so that you can change if you got to do CVT or an optional, transmission fluid for a different type as well. But a growing service, one very popular, and if the technicians are comfortable with it, very easy to perform, and they like doing that because once you start the equipment, they can walk away and go do an alignment or something else. So again, it's good for them for flag time, and a great service for the customer too. Cooling system service, we have a variety of machines and equipment there that'll enable you to offer that service. Multiple coolant tanks. Many shops are using like a chameleon style, so they're very comfortable with a 2-tank machine. You can do a full back flush or a quick drain and fill. And again, coolant service has become a growing service in popularity, especially in warmer climates as well. So, any questions before I get into this next section on equipment or the various services that we cover?
You guys, just to clarify, when it's a new shop, if they purchase your equipment, you guys are able to support them with training prior to their opening, and then assistance after the fact to make sure that everything is going smoothly. Is that right?
I'm going to cough 1 second. Yes, that is correct, Braden. That is correct. We have a variety of guys in various markets so that we can help get them trained, supported, and get started on the right foot.
Okay, great. So if you were to get his products and we were going through the timeline process, we would like to try and coordinate that before you open, when one of the operations managers is on site to help make sure that all that training is in place and everything's familiar with it, do some role plays and things like that. Good business.
How close to the same chemicals are we using on that?
That's a better question for Bruce.
Say that again?
He was curious about the comparison between Rite products and BG products.
Good. BG is a good product line. We do a very similar product mix, and we stand up very well. I'd say there's none better. We have documentation to prove the efficiency of our products. I know they do. They're a good group of guys as well. I think our equipment is head and shoulders above it. You'll find that technicians will find it much easier to use, more user-friendly, and they're able to do services faster than with some of their machines as well. But again, they've got a good line, good product line. We compete with them in a lot of the dealership market, but we've been very successful as well. And again, they're a valid competitor. But I think the advantage you have, Bill, is you're going to be selling your own brand of product as well, which is something you can't get from any other vendor other than Honest One.
Right, that looks really good to the customer too.
Mm-hmm.
To the same aftermarket company.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Nobody knows any company, any aftermarket company as big as a lot of the oil companies are. Nobody has brand recognition when it comes to fuel system cleaners, So the advantage you guys have in having the Honest One brand ties right in with your store, and it can give you a tremendous marketing advantage to sell your private branded product. All right?
Yes, sir.
But again, feel free to ask questions, challenge us. We're more than happy to answer the bell. So let's talk for a few minutes about how do we sell these things. When you ask someone what do they want to be when they grow up, what did you say, Bill? Salesman, right? Probably not.
It's probably not.
Probably not. You know, nobody wants to be a salesman, but nothing happens in this world unless somebody sells something. So our philosophy, selling is telling. People want information. They want to make decisions. The internet is a prime example of that. People will research anything and sadly believe some of the stuff they see on there. But people want information. They want to make good decisions. So we feel when you're talking about maintenance services, your customer needs to know, because very rarely, if they come in and say, hey, do you service transmission fluid here? What should happen, Bill? Your radar should go up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because oftentimes if they come in asking if you do something, they may have a problem and they're just going to try to pass the buck. But in most cases, customers need information. They need to be told. So we encourage you to get into that habit, make it part of your process. Honest One has some great tools to help you in doing that. But really get into offering scheduled maintenance packages. Because really, the manufacturers have various maintenance schedules on these vehicles, and factory scheduled maintenance can increase your dollar share. Again, vehicles are made better than they have been in the past. A lot of the things we don't do as often. Exhaust is lasting much longer, brakes last a lot longer, tires and so on. So we have to do other services. So scheduled maintenance services can give you a huge opportunity to gain some of that market share as well. So again, anytime that you can print the customer's own scheduled maintenance, whether you're using Mitchell On Demand, All Data, or any one of those programs, that's kind of a customized approach to that customer. Because there's some great point of sale, it's true, but when you print that customer's specific recommendations, that's tailored to them. Again, the illustration that you go to the doctor, if you walk into a doctor's office and he looks at me and says, wow, I think you need a kidney replacement, what would you think? You'd be out of there in a second. But really, if he did some tests, if he specifically got information on your health, then it's a different story. So same thing, when you can print a scheduled maintenance list on that vehicle, the customer knows this is their vehicle they're talking about. And just take a look at one here. I think this came out of a Mitchell service. This is a 60K service on a Chrysler 300. Again, this vehicle comes in for an oil change. You print a scheduled maintenance list on it, and look what you find there. A lot of things that you can do to continue to maintain that vehicle's factory scheduled maintenance, even replace the automatic transaxle differential fluid. We're going to talk about terminology in a few minutes. Replace the power steering fluid, rotate the tires. So we went from just an oil change to a nice repair order by following the scheduled maintenance. And again, customer knows this isn't something you're telling them to do. It's what the vehicle manufacturer, the car's mother, says needs to be done. So again, we encourage you to have your service advisor speak in understandable terms. Help them explain carefully. Just going back to this 1 second. Replace automatic transaxle differential fluid. What does that mean? Some technicians would have a hard time explaining that. Most customers won't know what that means. Have you had your transmission oil changed? That they could understand. They understand oil change. They understand transmission. So again, what we want to try to do is use terms that they can understand. That way we're communicating correctly. We can sell something to a customer maybe once if they don't understand it, but generally if a customer doesn't understand what we're offering them, they don't usually buy it, and they probably will never buy it again. So we encourage you to use tools of the trade that could help you in that area. Inspection checklists are very, very popular. Menus that explain the various services you perform. And Honest One does a great job with the visuals on their scheduled maintenance services. It shows the customer exactly what a transmission fluid exchange is, exactly what a fuel and induction system service is. So again, we encourage you to use those things as part of your process. Point-of-sale materials are helpful, the posters, brochures, all those things that can help educate your customer, but get into using that as part of your process. Safety inspection checklists are a powerful tool that you can use because, again, it gives you the confidence to offer services that are legitimate. And that's what a customer wants. They want to hear what's good about their vehicle, and they want to know what areas need attention. But it also can identify the customer, because you'll get some customers, if you're running an oil change promotion, probably come in and only want that oil change. So again, They may not be interested in any other service at that time, and that's okay. Maybe they're new, they're just testing you out, and they just want to try to see what kind of experience they receive there. But again, encourage your service advisors to use a safety inspection checklist, some form of a checklist, to help them understand exactly what opportunities are available on that car. Years ago, before we did some kind of a checklist, we fixed broken parts. It wasn't a problem. In the 70s and early 80s, where things were breaking as fast and furious, so there wasn't any problem finding that. Now, we've got to actually look at safety inspections, get a vehicle up on a lift, take a look at what's going on there to be able to ascertain exactly what that vehicle needs. Same is true with fluid maintenance services. We've got to make that part of the process. We've got to make sure that each vehicle comes in, we check the scheduled maintenance services for all of those various services on that vehicle. Not get into a habit where it happens once in a while. We have the same diligence in treating fluid maintenance as we do with tires or other parts as well. If you do that, you'll find your business will be solid from that standpoint. Yes?
Hey, Bruce, I might be jumping ahead, but do you talk about the fluid test strips that are available for you guys as well? The different
we
things
do.
that they can. You do? Okay.
We do. Yep. We'll get into that in just a second. Yep.
Okay, great.
So again, this is an area. Bill, did you have dealership experience?
Dealership experience? No.
Okay, just an independent repair shop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem. Good. I feel that the most qualified techs are probably in that range, and yet some of those guys don't take advantage of all their opportunities, oftentimes, because of not communicating to the customer. But again, if that's part of the process, because you have a tremendous trust relationship at the independent shop level, like you'll have with Honest One as well. So again, make it part of the process. Go through that with your customer. Get them into the habit of looking to your shop for all their maintenance needs. Sadly, some customers still feel they have to go back to the dealership for certain maintenance. And we know that's not the case, because you are allowed to offer those same services and maintain that vehicle warranty even if they have that service done outside of the dealership environment. So again, ask your customer about factory scheduled maintenance. Do you follow it? If yes, great. You're going to prolong the life of your Toyota, whatever it is. We can print your factory scheduled maintenance based on your current mileage. If no, then and sell them the benefits of doing that, what it'll mean to them to maintain that vehicle as best as they can. We also offer, and I think, Braden, you have this manual. We have about a 72-page manual on selling maintenance services. We talk about 3 primary ways to do that: time, mileage, and condition. So the first one being time. Most manufacturers recommend certain services every 1 or 2 years. Ask the customer when and if they've had those things performed. Check their service history. The second is based on mileage. So again, when we think about this, most vehicles have a manual in the glove compartment, correct? How many people read their owner's manual?
Next to none.
Next to none. I always ask, what's in the glove compartment? A guy said one time a 45. I said, well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your owner's manual. So take a look at this. This is an actual owner's manual, a Chrysler vehicle. Now here's automatic transaxle fluid. And notice the change interval on that vehicle. If your eyes are good, how many miles is that?
Hard to see it on our screen.
Okay. It's 15,000. So some vehicles have a maintenance interval on transmission fluid between 15 and 24,000. Now, the average driving in the United States now is about 18,000. So in most cases, or in the case of this particular Chrysler vehicle, how often should their transmission fluid be changed?
Once a year.
Once a year, right?
Yeah.
How many people do that?
Nobody.
Slim to none, right? So the point is this: if this car had 67,000 miles on it and it never had the transmission fluid exchanged, went back to the dealer with a transmission problem, who pays for it?
The customer.
Customer, right? So wouldn't the customer want to know that they should have changed that transmission fluid at 15,000 miles. So again, that's part of the process. Help to train your customers on maintaining their warranty so they don't get a surprise when they have a problem. And that's one of the keys at building a good relationship and educating them on maintenance services. So again, when you think about mileage, there's a variety of services designed at certain miles except for severe service. Now, what does severe service mean? That's the question.
Stop and
Severe
go traffic.
service. Say that again?
Stop and go traffic, towing, a lot of dirt road driving, that would be considered.
High heat, really cold,
Yes.
dusty conditions.
Now, let me ask you another question. Do most customers think they drive severe?
No.
No. They say, I wash it every week and keep it in the garage. But to them, they think that's treating the car properly. But this is the same manual. It says, in the case of that Chrysler product, it says extensive idling, driving in stop-and-go traffic. I don't know what it's like in Gainesville, but where I am outside of Philadelphia, that's every day. Short trip operation at freezing temperatures. We had a winter that was unbelievable. Driving in salty areas, sandy areas. More than 50% operation in heavy city traffic or sustained speeds during hot weather in Gainesville, Florida, it says right on this one. So again, the point is, your customer doesn't always think they drive severe. Now, what happens to the intervals for maintenance when you're classified as severe? Do they get longer or shorter?
Shorter.
They get shorter, okay? So again, the key is educating your customer of exactly what is maintenance is and required, and especially if they drive severe, that they have to get those services done more frequently. And the third way to sell these services is based on condition. So that's the actual fluid condition. Is it contaminated? Is it operating properly? You can check the coolant. You can check the lubricants. And we're going to show you, as Braden mentioned earlier, one of the ways to do that. We offer a program called Fluid RX, which allows you to test coolant, where you can check for reserve alkalinity. You can check for percentage of ethylene glycol to determine the pH as well, to determine whether the product's becoming corrosive or whether the product is not maintaining its freeze or boil over protection as well. And then it also has a lubricant diagnosis where you're able to test and spot various lubricants on this test paper to determine the contaminant condition as well. Remember, very beginning, we talked about one of the features of a lubricant was contaminant containment. So the Fluid RX program came out of the locomotive industry, where they wanted to sample the oils in the various lubricated systems on a train. So it's a medical-grade filter paper that you spot the fluid on. And what you're looking for are changes or very distinct zones or bands that form in the lubricant. So that's evidence of a breakdown of the additives or dispersants in that fluid. You're not looking at color. It's illegal to sell by color in 3 states, and pretty soon probably going to become a lot more. But what you're looking for is distinctive bands or zones that form in those lubricants. And when you see that, that means the additive package has broken down. It's time to service that fluid. So we've got a trifold that actually has the information for the consumer on there. It has the coolant information on the back. And then the newer one actually has 5 different fluids that you can spot on there when you bring the vehicle in to do your inspection. Sample your fluids. It takes it about 5 minutes or so to percolate through the paper. And then you've got an excellent tool to show the customer the condition. And you can tell them that each time they come to Honest One for an oil change, you'll make that part of their maintenance service, that you'll check their fluid condition. Some of the OEs have gotten into this. Toyota actually private brands this product. They did it to prove that the services didn't need to be done. What they found in their dealers was the services actually went up because they were giving the customer a very easy-to-understand means of determining fluid condition in that vehicle. So it's worked out very well for them, and we offer that product as well.
This is the first time I've seen band type testing.
Say it again, pardon me?
this is the first time I've seen this band-type testing.
Okay.
Typically, it's been doing this for years as far as, here's new fluid, here's your fluid, see how dark it is, we need new fluid. Did Honest One develop this? Who developed this?
No, a company called Fluid RX, Bill. The state of California has banned visual fluid analysis with your eyes. According to many states, you're not allowed to smell, taste, or touch fluid and tell whether it's bad. Because basically you can't. You know what I'm saying? In all honesty, you can look at power steering fluid and it may be dark, but it may have had an additive that made it dark. It may have been one based on ATF +4. You know what I mean? Started out like cherry red. So again, I work with an organization called AMRA MAP, which is an industry organization, and we're very careful about what is presented to the consumer because it's a way of protecting all of us in this industry. And condition-based testing, we don't authorize any brand as an organization, but we do authorize condition-based testing. So whether you're using coolant test strips, are you familiar with them?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the coolant test strips and brake
fluid
test strips.
Brake fluid test strips, coolant test strips. You can use a refractometer. You can use hydrometer. You can use a variety of things to test coolant and specific gravity and so on. But this one was the first means of condition-based testing lubricants. So again, it's an easy way to graphically look at the change in the fluid, and that's what you got to get yourself around. Their website, FluidRx, has a good website that kind of goes over some training points as well. But you're not looking at color. You're looking at a change in that lubricant, and that change means the additive package of the dispersant or detergent has changed dramatically, and it's lost its useful life. So again, guys that are using this tool, very, very effective to give the customer and they also have little take-home cards. You can circle the results and let the customer take them home if they want to just keep a record of it, or if they need to show it to their husband or wife or whatever to get their approval. So the key is, if you want to be successful selling these services, don't keep it a secret. Make your customer aware of what condition their vehicle is in, do a good inspection process, and present your findings to them, and you'll be very successful. We have some customers that do an exceptional job selling maintenance services and have extremely high customer feedback. You don't have to oversell anything, but all you need to do is develop a good process and present those findings to your customers. Maintenance services save your customer money. The fueleconomy.org, our trusty government website, a couple years ago came up with this. If you use the recommended oil, if you keep the tires inflated, if you maintain your fuel system, and you replace your air filter, you can save up to 70 cents a gallon. Is that worth it to most people? Absolutely. And one of the things that's affected us most in the last few years is the percentage of income going to fuel once fuel gets around $4 a gallon. So again, make that part of your process to educate your customer the impact that maintenance services can have on them saving fuel, and it's a huge opportunity. Does it make any sense at the cash register? Absolutely there as well. If you develop a process, if you train, measure, coach, and repeat with your people, you'll have excellent results in offering services to your customers. Set goals to inspect every vehicle and then present each needed service. Ask them for the business. The customers that are successful do that. And you'll find it's just like playing baseball. If you want to make $1 million in baseball, how many times do you have to hit it? Only 3. 3 out of 10, and you're a 300 hitter. So again, in our business, we think, man, if you were only successful 3 out of 10 times, you'd probably go crazy. But it doesn't. All it takes is a process. Get in the process of good inspections on your customers, develop good customer service habits, ask for the opportunities. You'll get enough of them to say yes to be very successful. Now, again, here's the dollars. If you averaged one of each of these services, it would add an additional $130,000 to the bottom line. Now, is it realistic to do that? Well, here's some industry numbers. 15% of vehicles that visit a service center, 50% of vehicles visiting a service center need at least one scheduled maintenance service. So if you see 30 cars in a day, that's 15 opportunities. If you close at 60%, that's 9 potential scheduled maintenance services per day. And 5 was over 130,000. So again, is it out there? Absolutely. So again, what's your current process? When we're dealing with owners that have been up and running, what's their objections? What are they facing? What's the challenges to doing a better job in this category? And that's when we answer those things. And 9 times out of 10, it's not geography. It's the geography between your ears. Just getting it in your mind that you want to do a good job, develop a good, trusting relationship with your customers, and offer the services in a credible way. If you do that, you'll be very successful selling those services. We encourage them to use a very simple statement. When was the last time you had your fuel system professionally cleaned? There's only a couple ways to answer that. I don't know, never, or yesterday, right? But see, it identifies what you're going to do. When was the last time you had your transmission fluid professionally serviced? When was the last time you had your coolant professionally serviced? So you're setting yourself apart from them going down to AutoZone or somewhere and buying something and dumping it in their tank. You know it's a professional service. And again, it also helps them appreciate that they should do it. Let me ask you a question, Braden. When's the last time you had your teeth professionally cleaned at the dentist?
Probably about a year ago.
Okay. When should we have that done? I mean, according to a dentist, we should have it done, what, every 6 months? Now, I don't have it done every 6 months. Exactly. I'm happy if I remember it every 2 years. But the point is, if my dentist says, when's the last time you had your teeth professionally cleaned, I'm going to get a little sweaty around the collar and say, you know what, I don't know, you know? So again, when we say the same thing regarding the services we perform at Honest One, when's the last time you had your fuel system professionally cleaned? See, we don't want to get into an arm wrestling contest with a customer. We just want to engage them in a conversation. I don't know. What does it do? Well, I buy something at Kmart, I think, and drop it in the tank. Good. I'm glad you recognize the need to maintain your fuel system. However, the professional service we offer here at Honest One is much more involved, much more complete, and covers all the areas that affect the air and fuel delivery of your vehicle and save you money at the pump. We charge $139.95. Can we take care of that for you today? Boom. So again, get into that process with your service advisors, and you'll be able to generate more customer service dollars. So whatever it is, stress, complete fluid exchange, complete cleaning, because it's much different than what they get at many of the quick type of shops where they're just barely doing a service. Get your people comfortable with the various services so that they can talk intelligently about that and answer questions. We have some excellent tips in that written material to do that. So if a person says, well, what does it do? I never had it done before. Is it really necessary? Make sure your people have a very simple brochure to be able to point out those facts, and they'll be very successful at getting that done. Again, we encourage you to use that menu approach. Every time you go into a restaurant, you get a menu. And in most cases, you probably know what's for breakfast. But they want to make sure you're aware of all the things they do there. Same thing at Honest One. People kind of are barraged by so much today, they get a very narrow focus in their mind. Let them know you do these dealer services, that you can be an alternative to going back to their car dealer for maintenance services. You make them aware of that, you'll get your share of that menu as well. So the key is you want to present 100% of your services to 100% of your customers 100% of the time. Don't make a decision and prejudge him. Oh, that guy doesn't look like he has enough money to pay for an oil change. You don't know what his condition is. You know what situation is. He might be driving to California tomorrow. So again, do a good job at presenting your services to your customers. Develop good trust. Do everything honestly as you should and must, and you'll be successful in doing that as well. So again, develop a process, train, measure, coach, and repeat on that, and you'll be very successful in offering maintenance services to your customers as well. Ad-libbing is for amateurs. So again, teach your people what to say, follow a procedure, use the brochures and tools that you've been provided from Honest One, and they'll be successful communicating to the customer. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Is there any questions?
No, sir.
I'd like to add that you've provided me with a couple of really good training documents that have been made available to Marcy and Bill on the flash drives that they have. And for those people that are just listening this online, if you contact the operations department, I can forward those to them as well. So, you know, they're really good individual tools for training and developing on these exact things and selling tips that you just talked about. So.
And guys, we've got a program together on equipment. We'll help you there to learn how to use it. We do some programs to where we help you offset some cost on those things. You'll find the equipment is easy to use. Your techs will like it. Your customers will like it, and you'll be successful at selling these services. So anything we can do to help you, Brayden has my contact number. Don't be afraid to call me, and we look forward to working with you when you get open.
All right, sounds great, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, Marcy and Bill. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, Brayden.
All right, I've stopped the recording, I believe.
Okay.
Still no dirty jokes, right?
I need to double check it. Yeah, it looks like it stopped. For some reason, it takes like a day and a half for this thing to convert itself into something I can double check.
Okay.
But when I'm done with it, I'll make sure you have access to it so you can tell me if it's something that you don't mind me using.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for your time, Bruce, and we'll be talking soon, I'm sure. I appreciate your time.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Brayden. Take care, man. Talk to you soon, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.